Before petroleum chemistry rewrote the shelves, entire civilizations washed with a root pulled from dry earth. Yucca species have been documented in ethnobotanical records across the American Southwest for over 10,000 years of continuous human use. A 2003 study published in Economic Botany confirmed that yucca root extracts contain steroidal saponins capable of producing stable lather comparable to commercial surfactants. Indigenous Puebloan communities used yucca root paste as a primary cleansing agent for hair, skin, and ceremonial textiles, a practice recorded in detail by ethnographer Matilda Cox Stevenson in 1915. The system that replaced it was not superior. It was simply more profitable. Saponin chemistry does not require a factory. It does not require a supply chain. It grows rooted in alkaline desert soil, patient and unchanged. The Navajo called Yucca tsejin wigai, the plant of cleansing, and wove it into ritual, craft, and daily life simultaneously. No single plant was asked to do more. No single plant was more completely erased from commercial memory. The disappearance was not accidental. It followed money with precision. What the modern soap aisle never mentions is where this plant's story actually ends, and the answer involves a boardroom, not a garden. Yucca does not ask for water. It does not ask for rich soil. It grows where nothing else persists, in high desert heat, in alkaline flats, in cracked caliche that would break a plow. The plant's long sword-shaped leaves channel rare rainfall directly towards the root system. The roots themselves descend meters into dry subsoil, accessing moisture invisible to surface crops. This architecture took millions of years to engineer. Industrial monoculture cannot replicate it. Yucca is a perennial. It does not need replanting each season. A single established clump can produce edible flowers, usable fiber, and harvestable roots for decades. The system designed for replaceable seasonal crops had no place for a plant that refused to expire. Permanence is not profitable. Yucca survived the Ice Age. It did not survive the supermarket age unscathed. Before nylon, before cotton monoculture, fiber came from leaves. Yucca leaf fibers rank among the strongest natural cordage materials documented in North American archaeology. Sandals, rope, baskets, and carrying nets found in dry cave sites across the Great Basin have been carbon dated to 9000 BCE. The material held its structure across millennia. Modern synthetic cordage degrades within decades. Ancestral craftspeople understood tensile strength before the term existed. They selected specific yucca species based on fiber length, flexibility, and durability for different applications. That knowledge, accumulated over generations, was not written in textbooks. It lived in hands. Then the industrial rope and textile industry arrived. It needed raw material that could be standardized, mechanized, and monopolized. Wild yucca fiber offered none of those guarantees. The knowledge did not disappear. It was simply no longer taught. Every spring, yucca erupts in towers of white bell-shaped flowers. These flowers are edible, documented across dozens of indigenous culinary traditions from the Navajo Nation to northern Mexico. They were roasted, eaten raw, added to stews, or dried for storage. The flavor is subtle, slightly bitter, faintly sweet, with a waxy texture that softens with heat. No grocery store carries them. No agricultural program cultivates them at scale. The reason is not taste. The reason is shelf life. Yucca flowers are delicate, seasonal, and refuse to survive cold chain logistics. They belong to a moment, the brief weeks of high desert spring. Industrial food demands a product available on demand, in every season, shipped across continents. The yucca flower offered abundance once a year, freely, to anyone standing near the plant. That model generates no quarterly reports. Saponins are natural compounds that foam when agitated with water. Yucca root contains steroidal saponins, specifically sarsasapogenin and smilagenin, identified in multiple phytochemical analyses. These molecules are surfactants. They lift grease, suspend particles, and rinse clean. Traditional yucca root preparation involved pounding the fresh root against stone and working it with water until lather formed. The result cleaned hair and skin without synthetic fragrance, without petroleum byproducts, without plastic packaging. The personal care industry generates over $400 billion annually. A root pulled from the ground does not participate in that economy. Procter & Gamble was founded in 1837. By the time mass-market shampoo reached American households in the early 20th century, centuries of plant-based cleansing knowledge had been commercially obsolete for a generation. Not disproven, simply buried beneath advertising. The chemistry never changed. Only the packaging did. The yucca plant cannot reproduce without a single moth. The yucca moth, Tegaticula species, is the plant's only natural pollinator. This relationship is one of the most precisely documented examples of obligate mutualism in North American ecology. The moth collects pollen, deposits it deliberately on the stigma, then lays eggs inside the ovary. The larvae consume some seeds. The plant accepts this loss in exchange for guaranteed pollination. Neither species survives without the other. This covenant predates every human civilization that ever used yucca root as soap. It will outlast every synthetic surfactant currently on the shelf. Habitat destruction threatens the moth. Where the moth disappears, the yucca's reproductive cycle collapses. Industrial landscaping replaced yucca-rich desert margins with irrigated lawn. The covenant erodes quietly. No balance sheet records this loss. Yucca asks almost nothing from the gardener. Plant it in full sun, in well-drained or poor soil, and leave it. Established plants tolerate temperatures as low as -20 degrees Celsius, eliminating the need for winter protection across most of North America. Propagation is straightforward. Offsets called pups emerge naturally at the base and can be separated and replanted. No fertilizer is required. No pesticide is required. Yucca's dense rosette and dry leaf texture make it unattractive to most garden pests. The root reaches harvestable size in 2 to 3 years. After harvest, the plant continues growing. It does not die. This resilience is precisely what made it invaluable across arid civilizations. It is also precisely what makes it economically useless to a system that profits from annual repurchase. A plant that lasts decades cannot be sold again next spring. The yucca stands in the same desert it occupied before cities existed. Its root still foams. Its flowers still open in May. Its fibers still hold tension. Nothing about the plant has changed. What changed is the economic system surrounding it. A civilization that measured cleanliness in saponins has been replaced by one that measures it in brand recognition. The knowledge of how to use this plant was not lost to ignorance. It was displaced by investment. Reclaiming that knowledge does not require a laboratory. It requires only a patch of dry ground and the willingness to look at what already grows there. The yucca never stopped offering itself. The question is whether anyone is still paying attention.